Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I'm going to take a chance right there by doing my old intro. Because I can't stand saying okie dokie, constantly or having to come up with the. You know what? Let's make a campaign. Do you think that maybe I should come up with a new intro? You know, I don't even know. But anyway, I want to talk about the three recent releases in WWE and exactly what all three of them mean. Not much. Let's just start off by saying that. Let's not even dance around it and make like these are big releases and that, oh my God, it's coming to an end. No, this is not like Cena leaving the WWE. It's not like Randy Orton is leaving. It's not even like Sami Zayn is leaving, for God's sakes. Let's start off with the first person released and probably the biggest because it was the person who had actually been on TV this year. And that was Emma. Emma just had a match last week on Raw with Asuka. So, she has a match at TLC with Asuka. And the thing was about this match that surprised a lot of people was she took Asuka to the limit. Everybody thought that it was going to be a squash match, but it ended up being just Emma and Asuka getting it on, for like 10 minutes or so. So, and Emma looked pretty good in the match. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of either girl, but you know, Emma's an attractive girl, and you've got Asuka, who's she's Asuka, the female Naka Murphy. That's all you got here. And aside from that, she smiles, colorful hair. I don't really, she kicks people a lot. Anyway, Emma took her to the limit. If anything, Emma might have looked even more impressive than Asuka. Not really, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers here with the female Naka Murphy fans or anything like that, but um, I don't really see a lot in Asuka. I don't see what makes her better than Emma. I don't see what makes her better than Sasha Banks. I mean, they're all kind of on even playing, on an even playing field, really. Thing I told you about Asuka, she doesn't sell, she doesn't sell a damn thing in the ring. And that's really why I don't like her. I said, like, ever since Nia Jax, that was the move that Nia Jax hit. The same move she hit on Bayley to win on Raw. She hit that big leg drop that should have obliterated Asuka's face. And, she, like, kicked out and made her tap out in the same match. It was a bunch of bullshit. And I watched that match. Well, I've only watched it once, but I think back to that match and I was like, that was a horrible performance. It really was. Or it was at least just horribly booked. I don't know if they told her to kick out, but it's not even like she seemed a bit like woozy or anything after the match. She just, she acted like the move didn't even happen to her. So, anyway, but Emma has this match at TLC, and I don't know what they were expecting. Was she supposed to make, Asuka look like the Empress of Tomorrow? Asuka's so great. She's so wonderful in the ring. If that was the case, wouldn't she, all you guys, all the smarts out here, the YWC, don't you always say, oh, AJ Styles carried Cena to a great match? Or Ty Dillinger carried Corbin to a great match. Whatever, you do to defend your favorites here, in the YWC. What happened? If Asuka was so great, wouldn't she pull an AJ and save the match, right? She's the goddess, the Empress of Tomorrow, right? That's her tagline. If that was the case, she would have been able to carry the whole match and she would have ended up looking, like the Empress of Tomorrow, right? She would have looked like a wrestler that was ready to take over the whole women's division. But then, fast forward to reality where nobody likes to live here in the wrestling community. We just saw a basic match. It was an all right match, but we didn't see, the future. We didn't see an amazing wrestler. We didn't see the next female John Cena. We didn't see the next female Hulk Hogan. We didn't even see the next female Paul Burchill, for God's sakes. We didn't even see a match befitting of a big mid Carter. So, everybody built her up. They did these vignettes. And Vince Russo brought up a good point. They don't do vignettes for a lot of people, but they did vignettes for Asuka, which meant that she was special. Triple H loves Asuka. He's got pictures all up her on the wall. Stephanie might have a problem with that, but Triple H, he's like a Helga Pataki. He's got a big shrine of Asuka in his room, and he bows down to the statue of her. I mean, it's kind of creepy, but I'm just saying, folks, enough is enough already with the hype. And then we come back on Raw. There's another 50-50 match with Asuka and Emma. And what was it? Did Emma look too good in her match with Asuka? Okay, so, we could talk about Emma's past and everything. She's shoplifted, and everything like that. She's a kleptomaniac. I mocked her in the past. We all had our fun. But really, isn't this really creative's fault? I mean, look at the garbage that they have given this girl. So, you've got Emma. She's attractive. They could do a lot of things with her. They never had any problem in the past booking any of the women. But ever since they tried to take the ultra-feminist route and this is serious women's wrestling, they have no idea what to do with any of them. Because the God's honest truth is, a lot of these women, they're not great wrestlers. They're not fantastic wrestlers. You've got the internet and Triple H putting these girls over, trying to make like they're so amazing and everything. You watch a match with the women, and you'll see a very sloppy match. You'll see, they put more moves into the match. They try to kill themselves with more moonsaults and topes, fopes, and clopes, and suicide dives. You got to have 90 of those in every match. So they've been trying to up the work rate for all these women's matches, and they've noticed that the women's division is not really elevated beyond really where it was back in 2004 or so. It's basically at the same level. Actually, it's a lot more boring because at least you had Trish Stratus and Lita, and you had some women with charisma. Nowadays, we're watching these lame ass backstage segments where once again on SmackDown, all the women are lined up in a row. Like a bunch of inactive robots. You ever see that where they, in a cartoon where they show like a mad scientist lab and you've got all these robots lined up, and that's exactly how it is. Like a bunch of, army men, like just little toy soldiers all lined up. Each one is disposable or interchangeable as the last. And so, you got Emma in there. She's not an individual. They don't give her any personality. They threw her in there with Santino. They didn't have her talk a lot. They had her do some goofball sock puppet crap with him, which was like, you've got a hot girl, and all you want to do with this girl is make her do weird sock puppet things. I mean, it was not only weird, but it made me really wonder about creative and, are they really mentally stable? Then they got the idea of why not change her completely, change her name to Emelina. And then they just abandoned that idea. And I don't know if it was Emma didn't want to do it or creative did. I don't know who it was. Whatever it was, they handled that so poorly. After that, it became like a joke. You've never just seen somebody quit a gimmick on live TV. And they did that. They actually had her come out there, and instead of just scraping it completely, they had Emma just come out there and say, I don't want to be this character. And how was it? So I don't think it was really Emma's choice. That is creative at the end of the day. It's not like you could really say no to a lot, especially when you're not a big star like Emma. So, at the end of the day, Emma did her job. She might have done too well of a job, is what it was. She didn't make, maybe she didn't let Asuka get in enough offense. But like I said, if that's the case, and you guys like to say it all the time, all these great wrestlers carry matches against bad wrestlers. So if that was the case, where was the carrying of Asuka? It's like Asuka. She looks good when she's in the ring on Raw against a nobody, and she just gets offense the whole match. But when she's in a regular match with somebody, she just looked like a plain Jane nobody. That's not Emma's fault. That's this company's fault. They told them to go out there and have a long format match. And that's what Emma did. They had a 50-50 match. And, it didn't make Asuka look any more special than Emma. So, you can't blame Emma. How could you release the girl after that? What was that decision? Was because maybe it was Triple H who made that decision because he didn't make his girl look good. Give me a break. So let's move on to the next person, Summer Rae. In 2015, I think this is the last time we saw her. We saw Delana, Rusev, Dolph Ziggler, four-way love triangle fiasco. It was terrible television. It was horribly written. It was bad. Summer Rae was paired up with Fandango. It was slightly entertaining. It was a decent fit. And aside from that, I don't know where she's been the past 2 years. So I don't. Was she on Total Divas? I don't even know where Summer Rae was. So I don't really see what came of the. Again, you've got another attractive girl. You have no idea what to do with her. It's kind of just a bit. It boggles the mind. How could you not know you're a professional wrestling company and you don't know what to do with a hot girl? Holy cow. Anyway, let's move on to Darren Young. So Darren, we're hearing all the jokes. Oh, they're homophobic and everything. All right, look, here's the thing. Darren Young, they put this guy in the primetime players with them. Okay tag team that went nowhere. They broke them up. Then they decided, let's put them together again. Then they break them up again. They paired Darren Young up with Bob Backlund. I was like, you know what? These segments were decent, and it was because Bob Backlund was kind of shooting from the hip. You knew that it wasn't that scripted. Darren Young, was doing an all right job in those little vignettes with Bob Backlund. They were entertaining to a certain extent. Of course, they could be better, but then again, what can't be in WWE, for God's sakes? Anyway, so Bob, you've got this guy with Bob Backlund, undoubtedly one of the most charismatic wrestlers of yesteryear. So, we haven't seen Bob Backlund in years. It is time for Darren Young to get to the big time. We're going to make Darren Young great again. Bob Backlund. And then they bring him on TV. They could barely give the guy a win. They barely give the gimmick a chance. They barely give him any TV time. And then we gotta punish Darren Young. I don't even know where Darren Young has been. With wrestling house shows, he hasn't been on TV the whole entire year, I don't think. So Darren Young is just completely ghost for the whole year. And, you didn't even give the guy a chance. And the minute that you did bring him on TV, they had him feuding with Titus again. They couldn't separate Titus and Darren Young. If that was the case, then why break them up in the first place? Titus is not doing any better with the Apollo Crews. So why break them up just to do this mess? I mean, you've got Titus looking like a goof on Raw. Darren Young, who they didn't even give a chance. But here's the thing, really. not everybody could be a big star. You know, at the end of the day, oh, there's releases. There's been bigger releases, you know, than this. They've released more people at once. One time they released like 11 people, I remember, a couple of years ago. And not that many people even batting an eye. So, you know, the thing is, it's like, was Darren Young ever going to be a big star? Probably not. You know, I look at Darren Young, it's not like the guy has money written all over him. There was a promising gimmick that he was given, but with the current creative team, how could you really expect them to go any further with this guy? If you can't even, you know, get it right the first time with this guy, the 16th chance that they try with him, chances are it's not going to go over as well. So, you know, blame creative, you know, but like I said, not everybody could be a star. This is like the whole Cody Rhodes thing. Oh, they failed Cody. You know, the thing is, I couldn't see Cody Rhodes as a world champion. A strong mid card guy, but it's the same thing for Darren Young. I never saw this guy getting beyond the mid card. Now they'll just move on to the next schmuck, you know, and they're gonna end up screwing that guy over as well. So there you go, motherfuckers. There's three talents that have been given the axe. It's not really that big of a deal. Most of these talents were on TV anyway, with the exception of Emma. The Emma thing is a screw job. That's because I guess she didn't make Asuka look like the Empress of Tomorrow. She was supposed to look like the female Nakamurphy, and she ended up looking like the female Brooklyn Brawler. For God, you know, the Brooklyn Brawl is 10 times better than Asuka. For fuck's sakes. Anyway, it's been your YWC champ. Signing out.